I'm making a small over-the-collar dog bandana, and I've started with printing out my pattern and cutting out my fabric. I am using just one piece of fabric for this. So what I did was folded my fabric and then placed the pattern along this long edge. And if you're going to use a reversible bandana, and so you're going to have two different types of fabric, your first step will be to put them right sides together and then sew along this lengthwise. Since this is just one piece of fabric, I won't need to do that. So I will start with folding these side edges up about ½ an inch, and I'm going to pin them in place. And if you'd like, you can press these flat. I don't bother with that. Now that these are pinned, I'm going to sew along both of these edges, making sure that I backstitch at each end. I have finished sewing each end, and this end frayed a little bit. This is a super snuggly flannel fabric, and they're great for this, but you may want to use a little fray check on some of these areas. Now what I'm going to do is fold it right sides together and pin it in place. And I will just sew along the V here, leaving these two ends open for the collar to slip through and for us to flip it inside out. I've completed sewing the V portion here, and I backstitched at each end. And now we're going to turn it inside out. You can use a pencil to really sharpen up that point. If you're using a fabric like I am, the super snuggly flannel, it is really easy to fray that and to puncture through it, so just be cautious about that. But if you're using a more durable cotton, that's usually not a problem. So now that I've turned it inside out, I'm just gonna press this flat. Now that I've finished pressing it, it can be ready to go as it is, and you'll just thread the collar through one of these ends and pull it through, and then you can just snap their collar on them as usual, and it will lay really nicely. If you'd like, you can stitch along the top here, connecting this end to this end, just to make sure that the collar cannot move farther into the bandana. But I don't have any problems with that, and so I like the way it looks without that stitch. That's completely optional though. So let me know how your dog bandanas turn out. I'd love to see some pictures of them.